We've covered half of this already, but if I wanted to pass the size of a dynamic array or a matrix, I have to pass in the values for it. So I would have to collect the values somehow. I would then go ahead and create the dynamic matrix in this case, and I would have to pass the rows and columns to the functions that were really required for this. Now notice, by the way, yes, const does show up here. So in this particular code, I must not be trying to mess with anything. And as you can tell, I'm actually not. All I'm doing is displaying the information, see out. I'm not trying to reset it. I'm not trying to put an equal sign to it or anything of that nature. For this one, again, I must be passing in the array, but I don't want to change anything. Yep, it's another see out. This is a safe way of making sure that, frankly, you don't screw up the array. Or, and again, if you want to actually do some messing with it, then you just take out the const, and then you're good to go. But, again, in each case, if I'm passing in a matrix or I'm passing in a normal array, I'm going to have to pass in the size of the array. We've discussed this actually in pretty good length now. Here's an example of the same thing again. So we're going to have two questions on this first, so let me pause for a moment. All right, first of all, what is size t? You may have seen it before, and I highlighted it in bold there. Size t is a value that's going to be a 0 or a positive integer. So that's one way of getting around some of that if you had any issues with that before. A lot of compilers like to have your size be a size t, which makes sense, because 0 or greater. So just a heads up with that. Number two, did I have to pass in the size into the functions? The answer is no, I didn't have to. I had a global constant already that already had the value, but instead somebody passed in the size for this. So they kind of did double duty really in the whole thing of this. So either one fine, but we talked about it's either going to be with dynamic arrays, either the array itself, if you have a global, or the array and the size without the global.